here for you. Fox 4 News starts now.
Hello, I'm Dan Godwin with a look at what's making news in North Texas. Family and friends remembered a father who was shot and killed during a home invasion in Dallas last Saturday. Elizabeth Cardenas says two men came to the door asking to borrow a plunger. She says they forced their way inside the family's Pleasant Grove apartment, and one of the men pulled out a gun and told everyone to get on the floor. She says her husband grabbed his gun and tried to protect the family.
My husband runs and grabs his weapon, jumps in front of my son, shooter shoots him. My husband gets a chance to shoot back.
The attackers took off and have not been caught. Juvenal Antero died at a hospital. A balloon release was held for him yesterday at the apartment complex near St. Augustine Drive and Highway 175. Cardenas is now left to care for their 4-year-old son. She's also pregnant, expecting a baby in July. A Fort Worth woman who's been fighting eviction since shooting an intruder will now be allowed to stay in her home. In December, Aaliyah Wallace shot and killed a teenager who was coming into the window of her home. The government-subsidized housing apartment complex has told Wallace she must move because she had a gun. Lawmakers, though, have been fighting on her behalf with the Attorney General's office and the Department of Housing and Community Affairs. While Wallace has been told she can stay, she requested another unit over concern for her safety. Wallace was told there are no other available units. She says she is scouting other options. Dallas police say overall violent crime dropped last year, but there was still an increase in homicides. There were 32 more murders in 2023 compared to the year before. Dallas Police Chief Eddie Garcia says a majority of the murders were committed by people engaging in other criminal activity or high-risk behaviors. He says the department is analyzing data to come up with new crime-fighting strategies.
We know that we need to do more collectively as a community. We need to, as I look at that, I mean, we really need to continue to work on our focused deterrence model, work with our community, work with our advocates to give individuals that are otherwise be in this life of crime a better avenue and pathway to go, because it is obviously, as we see the numbers, it's not a very successful way of life.
Chief Garcia says the department will continue its focus on hotspot policing in areas where violent crime is concentrated. He's also looking to implement a long-term plan aimed at changing the culture in those areas by providing resources like jobs and education. The staff at Parkland Hospital has voted Dr. James Griffin as president of Parkland Medical Staff. Griffin, a Dallas native, is the first African-American to hold this position at the county hospital. Fox 4's Sean Rabb talked with the anesthesiologist about this accomplishment and his life.
Your office is adorned with art.
I've just been collecting art since I graduated medical school.
For more than just the art's beauty, but also the messages meshed in the mosaics.
Communities and individuals try to communicate a little bit of their life circumstance through their craft.
So too does Dr. James Griffin, the Dallas native who is president-elect of the Parkland Medical Staff and historic first.
In 1958, until I became a second grader, my parents couldn't vote. So to be elected by my peers, I think takes on special connection and connects me back to a point where we didn't have a voice, and now you have given the voice to someone who had a different background. I think it's very important, and that resonates with me with responsibility and accountability.
And significance. Griffin, professor of anesthesiology at UT Southwestern and chief anesthesiologist services at Parkland, was born in 1958 in the segregated colored unit at Parkland.
Even though we had the social barrier in '58, Parkland still is that bridge that makes it possible for us to overcome other barriers we have in our society.
What is it you want your legacy to be here?
I think, we all have a responsibility to make sure that the next generation has the tools, the passions, to make sure that their intellectual motivation is not left in the hallway, but it actually goes into the room at the bedside of the patient.
Not only passing on the practice of medicine, but like art, bringing unique experiences and backgrounds to be passed to the next generation.
And that we have not only a responsibility to care, but it has to be in the context of socially conscious and compassionate care. That's very important.
Sean Rabb, Fox 4 News.
Prosper Fire held a ceremonial push-in to put its new truck into service. That's where the vehicle gets a human assist into the station. The town is about 35 miles north of Dallas. The new truck, Quint 2, carries 5 essential pieces of equipment for fighting fires. It'll meet the growing needs of Prosper's fire department. The town had about 14,400 residents 10 years ago. The population now stands at 38,000. A high school robotics team is spending their holiday break helping children with special needs. We will show you next.
And as last night's storm system moves out, another one is on its heels. I'll have a look at your weekend forecast and Monday's rain chances coming up.
The Dallas Cowboys signed 4 players to the practice squad ahead of Sunday's game against the Commanders, with a familiar face rejoining the team, Lael Collins. Collins spent 7 seasons with the Cowboys and started 71 games before being allowed to seek a trade in the 2022 offseason. But shortly after, he was released by the team with 3 years remaining on his contract. He then spent 1 season with the Cincinnati Bengals, where he tore his ACL. Collins kept his home in Frisco and says returning to the Star seemed only natural. The Cowboys have a chance to claim the NFC East title with a win on Sunday. You can watch them take on the Washington Commanders right here on Fox 4. Kickoff set for 3:25.
Well, as clouds and showers moved in late last night, temperatures really didn't fall much through the overnight hours, with a little bit of clearing across parts of far western North Texas. We did see a couple of readings in the upper 30s, but the rest of us held on to the low and mid 40s last night. Right now, I have satellite and radar on loop from the last 12 hours to show you the progression of showers as they eventually were able to form as an upper-level low-pressure system drifted to the north, eventually crossing over the I-35 corridor between about 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. and then exiting off to the east. So only a few folks saw leftover showers around sunrise this morning, and they were mainly to the east and to the north and east. Dry air is starting to move in now behind this upper-level low-pressure system, very strong, producing a little bit of snow and some winter weather across northern portions of Oklahoma and in Arkansas. But for us here in the Lone Star State, we're still on the warmer side. I want to show you these rainfall totals, too, from the last 24 hours. Again, we've been talking about over the last week how over the next 7 days, we're going to be talking about 3 different storm systems. The first arrived as we kicked off the new year. The second arrived last night, and the third is on its heels, looks to arrive on Monday. Again, most of us picking up about a little bit of rain, and then upwards of about half an inch of rain across parts of Wise County, even some parts of western Collin County picking up about a half inch of rain. As the cold front drops in later this evening, I can't rule out a stray shower. We're talking about 10% coverage at best. As a disturbance, a pretty weak disturbance, moves in tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, we could also squeeze out a few sprinkles. But it does look like our next system will arrive on Monday with increasing shower chances and likely some embedded thunderstorms as well, but no severe weather is expected. Later on this afternoon, we'll be able to climb to more of a typical early January day as highs are in the mid-50s. Tonight, a little bit cooler, following in the wake of that cold front that looks to arrive this evening. I do think we'll wake up to a mix of sun and clouds tomorrow morning with More clouds than sun through the afternoon as a disturbance looks to cross over North Texas, again producing a little bit more cloud cover and maybe even a few sprinkles. Couple showers possible later this evening as that front drops in with cooler air and increasing northwest breezes through the day tomorrow. As a disturbance drops in through the afternoon, again a few sprinkles will be possible as well as a few extra clouds. All right, so we say so long to last night's storm system. That upper level low pressure system spinning off to the north and east, pulling the rain chances with it. The next storm system on its heels, and it looks to arrive on Monday. At this point, that timing will be increasing shower chances throughout the day, as well as a few embedded thunderstorms. Now, I want to fast forward and talk about what we expect to happen towards the end of next week and into the holiday weekend. It does look like a little bit of that cooler air will try to infiltrate parts of the Lone Star State, but at this point, the core of the Arctic air looks to stay to the north and northwest. Taking a look at your forewarned 7-day forecast, again, highs back into the mid-50s today. As we say so long to that storm system that arrived last night, we look to dry out, maybe a few sprinkles with that cold front later this evening. A little bit cooler tomorrow afternoon with increasing clouds and a couple of sprinkles possible with an afternoon disturbance. Sunday, pick day of the weekend, but winds do look to increase slightly, especially through the afternoon, gusting anywhere between 20 and 25 miles per hour. We turn a little bit more mild heading into the work week with shower and thunderstorm chances becoming widespread on Monday.
All right, thanks, Kylie. An Aledo High School robotics team is volunteering their talent and holiday vacation time to help children with special needs. The students call themselves the Circuit Breakers. One team member responded to a Facebook post looking for help rewiring 4 toddler toys. The mom making the request needed the toys to operate with the push of a big red button. What started as that simple project, with the help of donations, has turned into a major effort to supply reconfigured toys to kids with special needs.
It really depends on the toy. Like the dogs over here, they're very small and very simple, but it's such a exact little part that we need to make that it takes a little while to fidget with it.
2-year-old Eva Lynn Scuderi lives with trisomy 18, a condition similar to Down syndrome. Her mom says the reconfigured toy will help Evelyn build toward being able to use a communication device. And that's a look at what's making news in North Texas. Of course, for news anytime, just go to fox4news.com.